Landscaping with Zebrascapes. We're here to talk about turf and explain what's behind it. What's all in turf and what really matters? What's the price? Why are they such a big difference from Costco to what we're trying to sell, the competitors? Who's right, who's wrong? It's all across the board. And what it comes down to is, what do you want? Do you want to look out your yard and see something great and it just looks amazing? Or is it high traffic with the dogs running on it, or just a lot of traffic of people going back and forth? That is the most important thing to decide how much you want to invest in your yard. It is a wide range, to be honest with you, of how much you want to invest. You can go down as low as $6 a square foot installed and as up as $15 to $20 a square foot installed. Just depends on what you want. So when someone gives you a price, come on, we got to look into how deep and what's happening inside of that turf and what's all the install. So let's just talk about pets. If you have pets and you want pet turf, you got to understand pet turf is a thicker blade. You want thick blade and short for density, that it can handle a lot of traffic and a lot of movement, just pulling on it and stuff like that. It's very important, but it's also important that you have the drainage is extremely important when it comes to pet. You want holes about 3 to 4 inches apart where it can drain really thoroughly, like it drains through. So when you install it, that's great. You can have all this down. But what is the soil like? Very critical when you have pets, that you take out 6 inches of soil and you put a base down so it drains, just like 3/4 rock, and then you put a nice base on top of it of smaller rock, so the urine, and when you water it in, it drains down. You don't want clay, cleachy soil. It will stay there. And I'll tell you, we pulled turf up before where it would knock your socks off how bad it ranked, because the urine was in the clay. It was just nasty. So it's very important that all gets taken out. And they have a brand new product here, right here, where you lay these down and the turf goes on top and this drains. You can get a lot of water in there and it drains that urine out of there. And people say, well, they have Infill that you can get, a deodorizer, and you can add it to it. And this product right here, a little research, it helps a very, very little when it comes to it. It's quite a bit more money. I'm not seeing a big improvement on it. Does it help? They say it does. I haven't proven it. But most important, when you add Infill, you add silica sand. You don't add regular sand. Silica sand doesn't absorb any urine. So in the Infill, you got to make sure that you're putting the proper Infill on, because if it absorbs the urine, it is a bad deal. So it's very critical that you have a great base. You tear all that out 6 inches down, nice rock base, and then you put your DG on top and install this. After it's broomed down, you go with your Infill and you put a heavy Infill down to get these blades to stand up. It is very important. People say, do I really need the Infill? It'll look like a carpet if you don't. It's very important to get the Infill to get it to stand up. Playground turf and pet turf is very, very similar. They're very hardy, they're durable, and they're there to last. And yes, they're more money than the regular stuff. So that's the pet turf. You want stuff that drains. And then when you go down, like for long lasting, just a nice pretty turf, like you want to make it look good, this turf here is great. It's dense, it's got a soft ply to it. I don't want to go over 1 3/4 high. The height of it lays down. It's very hard to stand up. I mean, 1 3/4 is pushing it. I like to stick around 1.5 inches because it stands up better. When turf lays down, it don't look good. So you got to power broom it, put that Infill down when you got it. And if you go to the more of the looks and the lower grade, your holes are a lot further apart. I mean, like these here, you're pushing, these are close to 6 inches compared to 4 inches. And this here is a lower grade, and these holes are further apart. And as you see the seams, this is seamed a lot better. And it's very critical that the seams are good if you got a lot of activity. So as you want to adjust your price, you can go down. If it's for looks, hey, this turf will last 15 years if it's broomed right. And you can get to lower the cost down to $9, $10 a foot it's easy by just not having the dogs run on it. And so when you get the prices, watch what you're getting. It's also very important that you understand the turf. If you're on it a lot, there's a cool turf. Does cool turf work? I mean, really, like, are the blades cooler? First time I promoted it, I was hesitant. Do I really want to push something that says it's cooler? I put it down. I told them it's a slightly cooler. You might notice a difference because I didn't want to oversell myself. I went out there, after they've been out there a long time and asked them what they thought about it. They said they get off their pavers onto the turf because the turf is cooler than the pavers. And that's not what they had at their last house. The turf was always hotter. So they were very impressed, and they believe it was worth every bit of 15 to 20% cooler than the cheaper grade turf. So the turf is very important that you get the C blade. The C blade helps it stand up more, and it lasts a lot longer. They say it has a little bit of memory in it that makes it want to pop back up, and I believe it's in there if it's installed right. As soon as it's installed, you power broom it and get that thing to stand up as straight as possible and put the infill in. You want a heavy infill, like literally 2 pounds a square foot that you apply, and it's costly. And that's why people, when they start doing it themselves, also they start looking at the infill rate, it gets costly. So it's very important that you do that, because longevity wise, 4 to 5 years, once it lays down, you ain't getting it back up. It's not going to come back up. So it's important you do that. Also, as you all know, it's pretty easy sense. You got the brown blades. That makes it look really natural. Like there's dead grass in there. This is a really soft one. And as you go down the line, you can get the brighter Klein, and that's all up to the preference of what you're wanting. Now, just a side note, what have I learned probably 10 years ago? We installed this along a house, and there was a window. The sun bounced off the window, went on the turf, and melted it. Literally just magnifying it, and that is something to be aware of when you're installing turf along the windows. Look at the sun. If the sun can hit the window, and then there's an out period, you got to watch. We had this customer that wanted a whole bunch of turf wrapped around her entire house. It was like 6 rolls. And I warned them that you're going to have burns in the window. I can't promise you. I don't know where they're going to burn because it's all on where the sun goes. So we installed it all. About 6 months later, we came out, and wherever there was a burn, we just cut it out and put a big boulder there, and we landscaped her yard that way. It was very interesting and looked great when we were done, but that solved the problem of getting what she wanted and then covering the burns up. On another note, when you install turf, they have lot numbers. What's a lot number? It's the exact ink that's installed. So if you're installing multiple rolls, you can't be like, well, I'm going to install this and add on next year. It's got to be in the backyard because you will not match it. No matter if you order the exact same manufacturer, exact same name, it's got to be the exact same amount of ink because it's off slightly. That's another thing to look at. But when it comes to turf, we're at Zebrascapes. We do a lot of it. We order loads of these rolls in, and our guys are experts when it comes to seaming. We take a lot of caution when you bring them together. I'm not even going to go down the seaming route because there's so much training behind that to get that dialed in. But turf is a huge game changer when it comes to landscaping. It's a huge game changer when it comes to the value of your property. I mean, walking on someone's yard and you got it in. I have multiple clients say, neighbors walk by, is that real? And I'm like, sure. And they literally, they can't believe it's not. Where we've gone from the last 5 years of turf and where we are today, it's very impressive. And I know they're making steady improvements ongoing. We had this one client that liked their dogs on it all the time. We talked about just keeping it cool. We actually had spray heads just to pop up and mist the grass. It worked out. It wasn't that much more money to mist it and let it soak in. They had quite a few dogs, and they like to turn it on, the kids to run through it. So that was something that I thought would be great to have. You hook it in your sprinkler system, you run it on whenever the kids are out playing around with the dogs. Dogs loved it. It helps give them more excitement, and your dogs enjoy that changing stuff. So infill, you got to use, there's a couple different brands like I talked about. The deodorizer, I'm not going to go to bat for it, but I They say it helps, and they say they did testing. Silica sand is a must. There's a couple different kinds you can do on this, varieties, but whatever you put down inside, you make sure that it does not absorb moisture. So silica sand works very well for us to put it inside. You want to keep it about the 60 grit to 40 grit of the size of sand that goes in there. You don't want too big. Actually 60 and 80. You don't want too big a grit. But back to the back is very important. The seams, the drainage. Thanks for listening, guys. Any questions or comments below. It comes to turf, you call Zebrascapes. We have it. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Landscaping with Zebrascapes. We hope you found today's episode helpful and inspiring to your landscaping projects. For more tips and resources and to learn how Zebrascapes can help you transform your outdoor space, visit our website, www.zebrascapes.com. Until then, happy landscaping.